Welcome to Glitter and Chaos. We're your co-hosts. I'm Caitlin Mead, licensed clinical professional counselor and registered play therapist.
And I'm Kaylee Patton-Dieters, licensed clinical marriage and family therapist.
I about said I was the licensed clinical marriage and family therapist.
You say that often.
Yeah.
That you were going to do it.
I
stuff
was
like that.
I had to really think hard there for a second on what my license was in, and I was like fighting my brain not to say that I was your license, because I did not go to school for marriage and family therapy. Major kudos to you for doing the marriage therapy. No, thank you over here. I'll let Kaylee kind of introduce what we're going to do today.
So we are going to be talking about the importance of having fun. And I think that this is going to be kind of a large and kind of spiderwebbed topic, because fun is such a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that you and I have had conversations about. We might have maybe mentioned it in the podcast. I'm not entirely sure. But the importance of play, like in adulthood, not just, and we have talked about it briefly, but the importance of having fun and doing things that you enjoy, but also having some time for play. And of course, play looks different as an adult versus a child. But nonetheless, some of the, I think, basics of play is still very valid and present when adults get to play and have fun and do things that they enjoy.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we get so caught up in living life and lifing in general, which is for a lot of us paying the bills and going to work, because we have to pay the bills and we have to pay taxes and we have to take care of kids and we have to take care of family and we have to, do all of the responsibilities that we were naive enough to wish for when we were kids. That we thought, hey, adulting is going to be fun, and newsflash, it's not all fun and games. But I think sometimes we forget that, and I say this saying often to clients, but you need to work to live your life, not live to work. And I think sometimes we all get caught, I know I'm guilty of it too, get caught up in the mundane and the day-to-day schedules of, I've got to get from A to B to C to D, and that's my schedule of doing all of these things. And then we wonder why we're worn down. I wonder why you're burnt out. Especially, and Kaylee and I talk about this a lot. In our line of work, we are often burned out. And that's a lot because, and I'm not saying other fields aren't, but I know just in our field, we carry a very heavy emotional load. Not just from what we hear, but just from what we do. A lot of people think, as therapists, you sit and you listen and you talk and you provide guidance. They don't, it's a little plug of education here of what therapists do. It is exhausting. It takes a lot of work to sit and attend. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't mean that it's exhausting to attend to people. I mean that it really does take work to attend to people.
So I've seen it broken down, and I really like this description of the cognitive or mental load that is sitting there and attending and being listening and trying to figure out what would be the best intervention to teach and or practice in the moment. And when do I'm noticing if they're flooding, what do we need to do to kind of downregulate? If they're getting agitated, how can we de-escalate? Like it's all of those micro decisions at a point, sometimes 5-second scale, that we're constantly making over and over and over. And it's constantly this flow chart of, if this happens, then this happens. If this happens, then this happens. And it's not always so linear, but nonetheless, it is every second of that therapy session, you're constantly thinking and trying to adjust and individualize your treatment for that person in that moment, how they are showing up. And I haven't been able to find this source because I want to find this source, but I had seen on another therapist's social media that they were talking about this cognitive load and how exhausting it is. And they had equated to 1 hour of therapy, so they were using 60 minutes here, was an equivalent of the cognitive load to 3 to 4 hours.
I mean, makes sense.
It does, but I can't find the source, and that bugs me because I want to find the source. I want to find the thing so I can go back to it and give credence to this is what we're finding, this is what the research is saying. But it does make sense. And then so when you have that kind of cognitive load, and it's not just us, other professions have this too. You see it in the medical field. I can imagine you can see it in a lot of high cognitive processes,
You think about
jobs
it like people that are in the courtroom,
mm-hmm,
people, police officers,
mm-hmm,
firefighters, like anybody that has to make snap decisions.
mm-hmm.
And I want to preface this too. It's not like I feel like a lot of what we do is subconscious too. Like I don't just sit there and I'm like, okay, well, what intervention am I going to use? Some of it is just like off the fly. Like
Sometimes
you get so used to doing this
mm-hmm.
that you pick up on things.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're quickly, and maybe it's just because our brains are trained now at this point to quickly do these things.
Mm-hmm.
But you get brain tired.
Mm-hmm. And that's when you need the most fun. And I've even done it in sessions, and I do it with myself too, is, when things get too intense or too overwhelming and you just need a break. Sometimes you need to take a break. So how can we introduce some silliness? How can we have some fun, even if it's just for a moment, to de-escalate, to decompress from whatever, situation that we have been discussing, or whatever overwhelming thing that we're trying to work through, is interjecting or infusing some fun. And that can be just taking a break. Sometimes I've just said, hey, let's take a break. Let's talk about something else right now. Or even for some of my younger kids, I'm like, well, why don't we just play like a quick game of Uno, just to kind of get the brain off of what it was doing, to do something fun, and then we can maybe re-enter if they have come down from the flooded state enough.
Absolutely.
Because obviously we don't want to put them back in a flooded state if we can help it.
Right.
So,
and I think, we don't want to just talk about that in the therapy session either. We're just talking about, the reason I bring up like what we do in therapy and why it's so important to have fun is I talk about our experience as therapists and how flooding and how exhausting and burned out we can become.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's our experience. But those of you who are listening, those of you who are watching, in whatever field you're in, you're probably burned out at times. You're probably exhausted at times. You're probably overwhelmed and overloaded and all of the things, with not just your careers, but with your jobs and your careers and jobs. Hello. With your family life, with your just lifing, with finances, with all of the things. And I think sometimes we equate, well, I don't have money to do this, so then I can't go have fun. Or, we equate with, I don't have enough time in the day to have fun. Because I think sometimes we think that, well, to have fun, I have to plan this whole day of fun. Well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about micro breaks. We're talking about, if you can have a full day of fun, great, go do it. Like sometimes for me, a full day of fun is I need to get out of my house. I need to get out of Nemaha County. I need to get away. But it could also mean fun for me might be I don't do anything stressful. I rest. Like I won't lie to you. This weekend, I called it my potato weekend. I got to be a potato. I got to be at home. And I got to lay around. I did nothing that I said I was going to do. I was going to read a book. I read maybe a chapter or two. But I also baked. I cooked. I spent time with my family. I sat in my house with the windows open until my neighbor started a burn pile. But I did things, and Kaylee knows relaxing for me is like not.
It's harder for you.
It's harder for me. But that was my fun because I got to do something I don't normally do. And I felt like and you just saw me, I just took a deep breath because it was renewing. And even in between sessions, I'll read a chapter of a book. Lately, it's been getting up and going, like walking up and down Main Street.
Yeah, the weather's been better and it's been nicer, and we haven't had another, wind gusts come through.
Tsunami.
With that as well. We did have to deal with that.
Or my basement floods.
But I've always been a big proponent of the micro breaks. I do like that. Even, if it is to have fun, if it is to just need to take a break of anything. But I think fun can be anything you make it. Yes. Like you said, you were having fun doing nothing. And that is restorative. That is renewing, to sometimes be able to be a potato and just kind of bake in your nice little, cocoon.
I wasn't a cocoon.
and that is so restorative. And it, in a world where we are so fixated on being busy and doing things, and somehow that has been linked to kind of what our worth is
And what
and
your
our approval
productivity
rating.
is.
Yes. And that is slowly harming us because we are overworked, we are overstressed, our nervous systems are shot. And one of the best ways to do that is to infuse some fun, or to encourage some slowdown. Now, slowdown is not possible for everybody. And I recognize that. And I'm not saying where you have to take like a whole day. If you can, great, fantastic, please. But if you can't, because I understand life happens and maybe that's just not how your life is set up right now, or maybe you're not in that season of life to where you have a lot of time to slow down. But it's finding those like mini micro moments of fun. And the one thing that comes to my mind the most is like, I'll listen to music. That's one of my first things. I use music a lot for many different things. It's one of my primary stems. It's one of my primary things too. When I have to do tasks that are not my favorite, I automatically put on some music.
Your sleep token radio?
Yes, that too. And that's just one of the easiest things for me because I have access to music, but I've set my life up to where I have access to music at any point of the day.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. But again, it's not easy to sometimes find that fun.
No, it's not. But I think this is where we talk about building it in. We've talked about in previous podcasts about having your coping skills on hand, having the importance of having that, the importance of having your safety nets, the importance of having your supports. We also want to talk about, like, that's what today is the importance of having your fun built in. It does not have to be a planned activity. It can be just a built-in spontaneous kind of like, hey, I've got 5 minutes between this appointment and this appointment, or I've got 5 minutes before I have to do this. I'm going to listen to my favorite song. I'm going to go on a brief walk. I'm going to just close my eyes for a minute. There are multiple things that you can do. Or I've got 5 minutes. I'm going to play a quick game of tag with my kid. It's these multiple little just breaks and things that you can do throughout the day or in your moments that can break up your day. That can also give you a brain break. I think this kind of goes back to our other episode, the one that a couple episodes ago that we did, which was your brain being a jerk. This is a good way to kind of break up the jerk too. It's the importance here is that it's another way to take care of yourself. Life is too serious. Like it is too serious. I don't, what is that saying? There's only two certain things in life, death and taxes. And it's, I hate that saying, but there's some truth to that saying that like, you can get so caught up and so busy and just doing all of the mundane and responsible. And I'm not saying don't be responsible, but like all of the everyday responsibilities that we lose sight of taking care of ourselves. We lose sight in finding ways to smile. And I think like as a mom, as a friend, as a wife, as all of those things, I just think about like what impression am I giving to the people around me? Like if I'm not having fun, if I'm not taking care of myself, am I coming across, like this kind of goes down to a whole different spiral, but hang with me here. It has a point. What's the impression I'm giving? Like if I'm not taking the time to take care of my brain, to take care of myself, to have those breaks, to have that fun, to feed my brain something positive, what am I giving? Like I naturally have an RBF. Like I naturally already have that face that just kind of says like, don't touch, not nice. Does not play well with others. Like that face is already present. But to the people that are in my life, I want to make sure that they're also getting the best version of me, like the version of me that still says, hey, I care about you. Hey, I am approachable.
Mm-hmm.
I am present for you. Like I want to be present for the people in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not taking care of my brain, if I'm not taking care of my health, if I'm not making sure that I'm finding joy, then I can't be that positive person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is. It is hard. And I think the hardest part is allowing yourself to do it sometimes. It's just
Giving yourself permission.
Yeah, giving yourself permission and allowing it. I know that sounds weird, like, well, why wouldn't I allow myself? But then when you think about your everyday, like, list of things that you have to do, it's, oh, well, I'll do it when I get this done. Or, gosh, I have to do this. Or, gosh, I forgot that. Or insert here of what you need to do. It's so easy to, deprioritize yourself in front to get other things done that you need to get done. Well, if I do this, then I'll be able to relax. If I get this done, then maybe I can do something for myself. That's not serving you in the long run. Yes, sometimes we don't always get that luxury where we have to do the things. There is no highway option there, and you have to get those things done. I understand that. But on the things that, like, so for example, dishes, for the most part, they can wait 10 minutes. They are not going to sprout legs. They are not going to walk away. They are not going to be magically absorbed into the household, cupboard somehow.
Or attract bugs right away or anything like that.
Or anything like that. Yes, not right away. You can wait the 10 minutes between the rest of your to-do list and doing dishes to do something just for you. If that's like playing a quick game with your kid, or if that's playing a silly game on your phone, or if it's listening to your favorite music, or maybe it's reading a quick chapter in your book. If you can just read one chapter in your book at a time, that's not real.
That's not real.
It's not real. How do you
in
just
our
read
world,
one chapter?
That's not real. Like once I get started, it's not stopping. I threw that out there for those of you that happens to. You're unicorns, because that's just not happening in our world.
No. My husband, my partner, had to literally tell me last night as we were in bed, getting ready to bed. I was like, I'll just finish this chapter and then I'll go to bed. And I was like, I got to the end of the chapter and I went, I can just do one more. It'll be okay. And he goes, did you reach the end of your chapter? And I went, I'm caught. And I was like, yes. He's like, I saw, put it down.
Got caught red-handed.
Yeah, and it was an awesome interaction, because it was, again, we were introducing some silliness into it. I thought I could, be a little sneaky and kind of get, just one more chapter, it'll be fine. Nope. He held me to it, which is what he needs to do, because I already struggle with sleep, so he's doing a solid by helping me out. But it was just kind of a funny little silly moment between us, and that was yeah. But yeah, I don't know how you just read one chapter. It doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't. Well, and you brought up a good point. You mentioned that, like, we deprioritize ourselves, but it's almost like our society has basically said taking care of yourself is earned. Like,
or having fun is earned.
Having fun is earned. Like, productivity is the pinnacle, and your worth is based off of your productivity.
Yeah. That's not
which true. Is so not true. It's like the biggest lie that's out there is that your self-worth, your ability to take care of yourself, like almost like you have to earn the right to take care of yourself, the right to have fun, the right to have self-care, the right to spend time with your family, like based off of how much productivity you have. Like, how asinine does this sound? If I do the dishes, then I can go spend time with my son.
Yeah.
What?
When you say it out loud outside of your head.
But then I say it out loud and then I think, like, I'm guilty of that.
We all are.
Like, I'm guilty of, I'll come play after I do this. And it hits me the minute I say it, like it hits me and I'm like, you're not going to have this moment back. Like he's only going to stay this age for so long, and you're only going to get so many of these minutes. The dishes will be there when he's 16. Like, I'm clearly not going to leave the same dishes in the sink till he's 16. But I know some of you people out there are thinking, like, she's going to leave him till he's 16. No. But I will have repeat dishes there until he's whenever he's 16. But he's not going to be the age that he's at forever.
No.
But like Kaylee said, when you say it out loud, you're just over here like, that's the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever. It's almost like when you have the bad brain days and you say your spiral out loud and you're just like,
it was so much worse in my head. Or
it was so much worse in my head, and that doesn't sound real intelligent right now. So like, yeah.
Sometimes it is just saying it out loud, and however it comes out can be centering in one way or the other. And we go back to kind of like, what are our priorities? What are our values? What do we honor the most in life? And how are we working towards and making decisions towards those values and those honors, honestly.
Right. Well, and do your actions align with your values?
Yes.
And I think that's the key thing here too, is like making sure that your actions align with what your values are. Like, if I value family, then my priority needs to be my family. Needs to be like, I value my friends. My priority needs to be my friends and my family, and not being a workaholic or what have you. But like Kaylee mentioned earlier, like, fun is defined for everybody differently. Like, what fun is to me may not be the same thing as it is for Kaylee, and that's okay. I don't think anybody gets to define what's fun for you. Not encouraging illegal behavior here. So I'm going to preface that right now. Those of you that are watching that are like, they're
non-self-destructive decisions.
Non-self-destructive decisions and legal decisions, people here. Okay. Like, we are law-abiding citizens. We expect you to be as well. So I guess that's kind of what we're getting at here, is that you get to decide what's fun. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what's fun. Kaylee's not going to sit here and tell you what's fun. You get to decide.
We can only share personal examples of what we have found, kind of as fun.
And I'm still figuring that out.
Another thing that I like to do is sometimes it's not creating an inner world, but sometimes just making funny, creative scenarios up with very banal, simple things. Very boring things. Like, for example, trying to think. Every once in a great while, I'll come up with a situation, or I actually had suggested this to someone who had some public speaking issues, and they were concerned about having to say a few things in front of a smaller group of people, but nonetheless, there was some anxiety there. And I said, okay, well, if you don't know these people very well, so let's think about whatever you do know. What would that zombie apocalypse team look like?
Okay.
I know it's super random, but it took them out of the moment of being so afraid of saying something wrong or tripping over themselves.
They had to laugh about it.
They had to laugh about it, and it was like, this is obviously a no consequence scenario of, this is probably never going to happen. This is never going to be, but you get to be silly for a moment. You just get to be silly. Or like, let's say the same team, you had to assign them to do something silly. Like, they had to build a bridge out of licorice. Who do you think is going to be the foreman? Who's going to be the constructor? And who's going to be the manager that's telling everybody to do things? Again, a nonsense situation.
I mean, I'd be eating the licorice. Like, I would have.
And then you have somebody eating and borrowing the materials. So I mean, again, but
you ain't getting it back, especially if it's Twizzlers. Bye.
But again, it's introducing just a tiny bit of fun, and that's more of a mental kind of experience versus kind of using your body to do something fun with. But it also reminds me of you mentioned earlier about like money, because sometimes we think that we have to go out and buy something or do something or go somewhere. For one of our exercises in one of my couples classes was, we had to come up with a list of 50 free dates. And then we wrote them out and we shared them with our class. And by the end of it, we had a whole slew of free date ideas. that didn't cost any money whatsoever. And there was a ton. I think, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. I think we had upwards of 200 different ideas that were free, that you didn't have to do anything. Now, where I went to graduate school, it was a slightly bigger city, so there was a little bit more opportunity there. But we could still figure out things, even in our small areas, that we could do for free.
Well, I think we can
as
figure
well.
out 50 things to do around here.
Yes, exactly. So it's, again, you don't necessarily have to have money, but creativity and imagination is a big benefit here to find different ways to have fun. And there's tons, like you've mentioned, taking a quick walk. Or I know for a while during downtown, people were painting those rocks and kind of leaving them by businesses, doing something creative like that. That can be fun. Trying to see who's going to find it, who's going to move it, like.
We also had that, like, art on the sidewalk where people were doing, like, sidewalk chalk, like, on our sidewalks.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, how fun would that be?
I had thought about doing some sidewalk chalk here, and I thought about doing the hopscotch like next door had for a while, because I thought that'd be kind of fun.
That would be fun.
I don't think it's supposed to rain anytime soon.
They have, like, sidewalk paint now, too.
That seems a bit much.
No, but it's like sidewalk chalk, but in, like, paint form. But it's not like a paintbrush. Like, it's like a sidewalk chalk pen kind of thing.
Interesting. I have not seen that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's redundant, but nevertheless.
Yeah, but your hands don't get chalky. You just have like a thing.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay, cool. My niece had it. It worked.
Okay. Well, so that could, like I said, that could be something that we could do to help promote some fun ideas outside of the building. But again, doing one hopscotch could take like 2 seconds. But that is 2 more seconds of fun that you didn't have previously.
You best believe that between sessions, I might be out there hopscotching.
Maybe we'll have to get, I don't know, like a really long hopscotch. I don't know.
Like, I know in my kids' school, like, they have like a sensory area when the kids walk in that they can do, like, what's called, like, the thunder dance. And so they can do, like, this little hopscotch thunder dance. And so, like, when the kids when they're walking to their next class or whatever, sometimes their teacher will detour and the whole line gets to go through and do that. And it's fun for them. Yeah. Like, it's a fun break. Or if a kid is having a particularly difficult time, they get to go do that as kind of like a, hey, let's regulate, let's take a break. And there's a couple of spots throughout the school that have that.
That's awesome.
And so, it's things like that. Why don't we do a hopscotch here in the building? Can't do it on the floor. I understand that. But, like, we could do, like, the stickers. Like, not stickers, but, like, the
Klingon thingy-mabobs.
Yeah. Have one, like, in our lobby.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Bouncing ideas off here. But what we wanted to talk to you most about today was taking the time to have fun. We would love to hear what your ideas are. I'm going to make a post probably here in the next week about some of our ideas, some of the things that we do. And I'd love for you to interact and share some of your ideas, because we're open to new ideas. Sometimes ours get a little redundant, and I would love to try something new. So let's hear from you, hear what you have to say. Hope you've been enjoying the podcast so far, and we hope you guys have a great day.
Yep. Have a great day. See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.